our next topic of the night, which is where are you right now on the panic mode? Are you panicking right now at all? I'll start just really quickly. Say no. You're 1-3. I'm not panicking. And I want this loss was not a bad loss. Like it's bad because you're compounding it with 2 prior losses, but in and of itself, if you separate this out, this is not a bad loss. Boston Celtics is the best team in basketball. Like they just are. They are the. And Justin may not want to admit it. That's the best. They've won a championship. They are the best team in basketball. They have the best roster, top to bottom. Doesn't mean they can't be beaten in a 7-game series, but they're the best team in basketball until proven otherwise. So, but in and of itself, no, I'm not panicking about this. You put all 3 in a vacuum, it's bad. But no, I'm not in panic mode. You don't have Chris Middleton back. If I were to give a panic meter of where I'm at right now, it's a strong 3.5. But I'm not in panic mode right now. Like I said, I thought the effort tonight, and you mentioned it too, JT, especially when you see Giannis and Dame and how well the synergy they played off each other, combining for 63. I thought the screen game went well. I thought that they pick and rolled a little bit better, just finding actions for Dame in that 2-man game. I thought it was really strong, especially in that first half. But no, I'm not going in panic mode at 1-3 to start the season, not at all.
Well, to me, it's not so much about the 1-3 start as much as you've had 2 terrible losses. You've had 1 good loss. I'm not panicked, but I'm a little worried. And by little, I mean a lot, right? Because the practical reality is that in these losses, we've learned a lot about the guys we've got. We've learned a lot about the construction of our team. We've seen the flaws of our team. The issue is we saw this last year, so we're not learning anything new. We're basically confirming what we kind of already did know, is that, well, we don't really have the depth. We don't really have guys that step up here. Our role players really are, a bit more marginal. If they not clicking, we're in rough shape. So, I mean, we knew this before, but to see it be so palpable this early in the season, not great. So I am worried. And I will say this. At this point, I am open to moving a member of our – you have to be open to – is it Bobby? I remember last year we led the first half of the season. We're like, listen, man, Bobby, it's time to go. It's time to go. Bobby had a good stretch of games in that late January, February. And we was like, okay, you know what? You good. Your key card still works. We had you on the list, but we didn't quite, we ain't cut you yet. Now, though, this team looks very flawed, and I don't think you can hide that. Yes, it's been 4 games, but, I mean, do we need to see the same thing for 10 games before we make that assessment? My guess is no, because we've known this since before the season started.
Now, I wouldn't say I'm necessarily too panicked, but what's panic-worthy about this team is the fact that you don't have Chris Middleton right now, and you're going to eventually have to incorporate him into a lineup that's very inconsistent. So when these role players aren't giving you basically anything outside of Game 1 from what we've seen out of the 4 games, then it's like, all right, how are we going to make this thing go? How are we going to make this thing gel? We had this last year with Doc a lot too. Just the inconsistencies of the players, the inconsistencies of the lineups, the coaching staff, like that's a problem in itself. And then to let it tumble into next season with Chris Middleton not coming back yet, I think it's very worrisome that you may not even be able to figure this thing out once he comes back.
No, yeah, I agree with you, Chris, and I agree with all y'all. I'm nowhere near in a panic mode, man. I think the thing is, and Brooks said it in his post-game interview last night, like they're not executing this defense right now. And I believe, and I don't want to misspeak on Brooke, but he said that the thing was to force the guys to the sidelines and they weren't executing on that. And you can fact check me on that because it might be a little bit off. But the fact that they're not executing on this defense, and the last team that you would want to see, and this is like nails to the chalkboard to me, but last year the Celtics were the best team in the NBA, and right now they are. And going up against that team tonight, I mean, I think we showed a lot tonight, right? We played a much better defensive game that we've played the last 2 games, in my opinion. I know things got a little bit wonky at the end of the third and fourth quarter and in between and stuff like that, but I saw a lot more effort, man. I saw guys attempting. I mean, I know Brooke was out of position in a lot of stuff, but he still had 5 blocks tonight, protected the rim, what I want him to do. And look, man, I think Middleton is a stabilizer. I don't think he's not going to come back and be the Chris Middleton when they had the All-Star game in Charlotte when he's there with Giannis, right? But we need someone to stabilize. We lost by 12-13 tonight. Chris can kind of make that up. When those guys aren't hitting shots and stuff like that, that's a guy you know you can pass the ball to, and he can create a shot, and he can score in that fourth quarter. I don't need him starting again, but I need, or he can start, but I just need a bucket at times, man. And guys right now, when we're learning this offense and stuff like that, guys aren't getting buckets, man. And I understand, man, you know, the Celtics didn't have Porzingis tonight. I don't know what that really adds to this game, because neither one of them should be able to stop Giannis. So Middleton brings a lot more to the Bucks than Porzingis brings to the Celtics fans in the chat room.